Welcome to the Fashion Translator. I'm Claire, your host. Together we explore how AI and innovation are reshaping the fashion industry through creativity, technology, and global partnership. For today's episode, I'm thrilled to welcome Brita Jackson, founder of Arquette Agency, a New York-based talent and creative management agency known for elevating fashion professionals, connecting brands with world-class talent. Brita, thank you for joining me today. Could you please start by introducing yourself and sharing what first inspired your journey into talent management and building Arquette?
Thank you, Clarice. I'm Brita Jackson. I own Arquette Agency. I've had it for about 20 years. I actually bought the company as I was consulting different agencies around the nation. I actually worked in Los Angeles prior in the entertainment business, and I just kind of got sick of everybody asking me on who to hire. So I said, okay, that's it. You're all going to pay me. So I ended up teaching some people and working on how to do the job. And then I decided that the company that I own now actually didn't have such a great reputation. And I battled to clean it up, and they were tired. And I said, well, then I'm buying it from you and I'm doing it myself. So that's how I ended up with Arquette.
So from your perception, now that it is your baby, what would you say is the essence of the agency?
Well, we really go by 3 values at the company that I've installed from the very beginning. So the first value is integrity. We're really big about making sure that we have a really great reputation and that everybody knows about it. The second one is accountability. We really want to make sure that everybody's accountable, whether it's my staff or my models, and that everybody actually does see our efforts on that. And then the last one is gratitude, which is probably also, to me, the most important because you don't find that in the business a lot. So we are always showing gratitude to those that we work with or for. And we're also known in our company for health and safety. We're pretty much number one in the industry for health and safety, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. And so a lot of clients do talk about that, and we do speak up a lot to protect our models.
I think those are a very strong pillar. I feel like it's true that we don't talk enough about health, mentally, physically. This is something that should be at the core and at the backbone. Same goes for gratitude. I think those are very strong pillar to build from. So what does the process typically look like for your talent when they join? Tell us a bit more about the process.
Sure. So our development process could take anywhere from 3 months to a year. Once we find a face, we really like to spend time with them. And again, we work on that, the physical, mental, and emotional side of everything. The physical side, obviously, we know in the business, that's probably what pretty much everybody sees is how they look. So their skin, their hair, their nails, their measurement, all of that needs to be on point, but then they also have to learn how to move, how to walk, how to speak. And then we get into more of the mental side of it, which takes a little bit longer. There's a lot of rejection that happens in this business. So to have a healthy mind on rejection and learning how to deal with it is important. Same along as competition. Competition is fierce in this business, which also causes a lot of instability mentally and emotionally. So we do have a lot of talks and a lot of different ways of working with the model on that so that as they grow, they're able to be stronger and be able to have a voice and know that they can be heard when they are having issues with competition or rejection issues. And then also, obviously, international travel is really big. And that kind of all plays in with the physical, mental, and emotional side because it does get wearing on your body and you always have to be on point. So we do have a lot of talks as well about prepping to get into the mind frame of being on the road for an entire year.
Wow, a year can be long, I'm sure.
It's very long. It's usually about 10, 11 months, and then they get to come home for holiday. It is wearing because you're being dropped into different countries every 2-3 months. And sometimes every week you're moving and working in a different country. Being dropped in and then having to work with the language, the culture, the social skills, and then be the best that you can be is another situation that most people don't get.
I can imagine. And then I'm sure you keep in touch and then there's a continuity while you travel.
Yes, we are always talking. My phone is on 24/7, so I actually don't get breaks. If someone needs me that's traveling, then I will answer the phone immediately and I will stay up and work with them. So whether it's if they're lost or if they're just having a bad day or they need help with something, anything of that sort, I'm there.
That's great. Tell us a bit more about this balancing act, because you have the moving part of the talent, but also the client and the brands. Tell us a bit more about all this all flows together.
Sure. The clients usually will give us bits and pieces of information as things are getting ready to come up. I think a lot of people don't understand in this business on the front end that there's a lot of moving pieces on the back end that happen and we don't get answered. So trying to keep the model calm. A lot of models, at least for ours, are very organized and they're very smart, so they can figure out anything, but we don't get the answers right away. So you do need to be very patient and lax. And as production is being put together and you get the information, then you can send it over to the model so they can get more of a full picture.
Tell us a bit more about this full picture, like all of the different pieces that have to come together, contract, logistic, all of these. What is like the bigger vision of everything that it takes to actually bring talents across the world or even with them in New York?
I would say for my vision going across, patient espresso and sense of humor. When you're managing people, there's no HR. I am the HR person. Being an agent, a lot of people think it's a very creative type job. It's not. Just so you know, we're very much more so of a sales and marketing type of person who also acts as a travel agent, a therapist. You're constantly, yes, getting contracts and negotiating or trying to procure a client that's new to bring in and present the models that you have. But a lot of it is also the logistics of working with the model themselves because you are managing people. Your product is not a coffee mug. Product has emotions. So when you have a product with emotions, you have to learn how to work with them. On a daily basis, we're constantly on the phone talking or texting with our models while we're also emailing and talking to clients to get information across. We do a lot of contracts. That part's no fun, obviously. We do put together a lot of packages for the clients to choose from. I would say the creative side of everything would be putting together the model's books and the development process. When I look at the development process, usually you get a model who is normal looking. They haven't even started. I call them water rats because they haven't become a butterfly yet. So it's my job to turn them into a butterfly.
It's a calling. It's like a beautiful mission.
Yeah, it really is a mission. And the whole reason why I went into this business and my goal for every model that I work with is kind of like a piece of art once they're at a certain point, and then they've turned into a sculpture. And when there's an image that I'll see, I know, or they'll walk in the door and I know, I'm like, okay, I did my job. Now I have a piece of art. That's art. It wasn't for the money. It wasn't for the my reputation is obviously number one in my book, but it wasn't for me. It was for me to make art. That part of the creative process, I think everybody loves, but it's not as much as people would think it is being an agent.
I love the art analogy. I can really see your passion for it and your connection with it, because if you think about it like the same way like a sculpture, you bring the raw piece of clay and they can already see all the potential. And it's beautiful that you have this vision with humans, that you're able to see everything that they can become down the road and all this potential, and it's just there to transform and evolve.
Here's the biggest secret of all is I can only do so much. It's really honestly on the model. It's the discipline that needs to be done. The model has to do it. I work out with my models. I cannot do it for them. I eat healthy with my models. I cannot do it for them. It is a lifestyle that they have to be disciplined on. I think that's the other part too, is a lot of people think like, oh, I could just walk in the door and I could be a model. And no, it takes effort every single day to take care of yourself.
That's often what will make the difference between a successful model or not. And this applies to businesses, this applies to artists, to anything. So many people have potential. Most of us have potential. But what the difference is, who will commit? And when it gets hard, who will continue to push and have this vision and keep their perspective? This is my goal. And to keep going and pivoting, and just this consistency and discipline is often what will make the difference between success and
yes, and that honestly, it's night and day. It makes a huge difference. You can't complain if you're not doing your job.
Basically, yes. Tell us along your journey, what are some of the challenges that you overcame and it became an experience that allowed you to evolve and be stronger in your position?
I would say when I first started the agency, and then actually right before COVID, I did two big bootstrapping moments in my company. And I worked 36-hour days. So it was not for the weary. And my whole team would try to stay with me and do the hours that I did. And I told them to give up, like, don't do it. Because they would never last. They would be in the bean bags. We had like huge bean bags in the office, and they would end up falling asleep at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I would wake them up at 6 a.m. and be like, hey, the clients are going to come in soon. You want to get up? But yeah, I would do 36-hour a day weeks. So I would do 3 of them in a row, and I would sleep 8 hours in between to really dive in and push the company. So I would say that was a really big one that helped move us from one level to the next level. And I probably did it for at least 3 months, that schedule. Yeah. And I'm actually about ready to do almost something very similar to that one more time to get to our next level. This will probably be my last time I do it because I think 3's enough.
These big push sometimes are necessary, but they're costly also.
They're very costly. Yeah. Mostly on my health and my patients. So we'll see how it goes for 2026 on that. But then also, I would say the other moments were I've been like blessed with really great clients who have been really good friends that I've known for years. I've had some really great backings and pushes to get us the recognition and the certain level that we've been able to have so far in the company. I've been very thankful for that. And we've kept those friendships for all 20 years. Honestly, being given those opportunities, those chances to be seen and to have that backing was very big for our agency to get where we were too.
Yeah, it's a strong foundation to help you move forward when you have these good relationships. It strengthens everything that moves forward. So if we're thinking about right now that you're planning this next push, what is one of the aspects that you wish you had a magic wand and it would just do itself automatically? Which aspect?
All of it.
You wake up the next day, all done.
It's all done. Yes, I would love that. We have some really big goals and moving parts for coming up the next 2 years. Just so you know, I've never had an investor. I've had offers for investors. They've always had wrong intentions or bad intentions or not the same values as what we have at our company. So I've turned down a lot of offers throughout the years. Everything I do, I put back into the company to grow it more. And I do it on my own. With all of our big projects that we're doing, it's the growth part that's going to have to happen. We're going from nationally to internationally on our growth. And we're going into different side of avenues now where we're asking the question, what does the industry need and what do the models need? We're no longer being static at how the agency's always been ran. We're looking at what the industry actually needs for the next 20 years and what the models need for the next 20 years. The projects that we're putting together, one of them is with AI and how it's going to help the industry itself. The other one is more so of like how to take care of the models as they are traveling. So it's different logistics that I think no other agency has really thought about because they're just looking at the bookings. And yes, we want the money, we want the bookings.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, we don't want to be like everybody else. We want to solve issues in the industry instead. This is our next big push is how do we solve certain issues in the industry? And we're gunning it. We're taking that step. We're moving forward. We're praying to God that it does work. If it does work, great. We're going to keep going with it. If it doesn't, then we just have to stop, ask ourselves why, and then go to our next step and figure out that path instead.
I think this type of vision, like you mentioned, AI and looking toward the future, for me, I firmly believe that this will put you ahead of the curves and to have this vision of what's the next step, what's coming next. And it can be scary sometimes to get ahead and to invest or put your dedication in things that are not yet the main thing, but that we believe in what will become the standard and what will become the next thing. And to keep chasing this next evolution and this next version of our ourselves and this next version of our company. I do believe that it can be costly in terms of energy and it can be stressful, but honestly, I think you're spot on. I have the same vision that what's coming next in terms of technology, we must make the most of it. It's there for the taking.
Yeah, as long as you can protect the model, because obviously with AI and the model, we don't allow AI with the model, but there are other things within the agency and within our industry that AI can be very important for and help with the marketing for the companies and will basically help the companies itself.
Yeah.
Also, it's very undeveloped markets still out there. And I've had my eye on one market for about 7 years now, and I've been watching it develop and grow. So we are also looking at expanding into a whole another international market that hasn't even really touched much. But then I have to also put up our values and ask, will these values work in this market? And how will they work? And will I get the respect from everybody in that country? That's a long battle that we've been kind of also starting to research and ask around and talk about too.
Well, Rita, we'll make sure to keep an eye on that and to also keep an eye on what's coming next for Arquette. For the followers that wants to keep in touch, all the links and the contact will be in the description. Rita, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.